welcome back. So how are you today? So in this video, we're going to talk about the body and food. Fun. Okay, there was a lot coming up when I was finishing off the previous video. Now, our thoughts create our reality. This line came up in the previous video and I didn't get to expand on it because it was towards the end. So I thought, oh, I got an itch there. I thought we would cover it in this video here more. Let's expand on it because that's what we're here for, right? To expand. So now our thoughts create our reality. Now, many years ago, or a few years ago, sorry, wasn't many. I'm trying to think how many now. At least 3 or 4 years ago, which makes it a few years ago. We went to visit Fingal Bay. It's one of my favorite beaches here in Australia. And at the time, I had it in my head that I was feeling sluggish and that I was having all these sinus problems, because I was constantly clogged up, in my sinuses. And you can still hear me sniffling occasionally. So I blamed it on my diet, on what I was, eating daily. That I could be eating better. We beat ourselves up so much about not eating properly for some of us, not all of us. But I know there are many of us, And I remember, was it the first or the second trip? I'm trying to remember now. One of those trips that we did to Fingal Bay. And we were there for quite a few days. I think it was the time we were there, one of the longest times, about 5 or 6 days. I forget now. But in that time that we were there, I wasn't eating any differently. My diet was exactly the same. But I was at the beach every day. I was walking on the sand 2 to 3 times a day. We were riding our bikes first thing in the morning with my daughter. My routine was completely different and I was relaxed. My breathing was different. I wasn't stressed out that I needed to be here and I needed to be there and I needed to be somewhere else, rushing from place to place to place, like when I was here in Sydney. In that week, my sinuses cleared up and the discomfort that I constantly have in my gallbladder area, although my gallbladder's been taken out, that was I'm trying to think now, 12 years ago, my gallbladder was taken out. I still have discomfort in that area. All of that disappeared in those 5 days. Even though I was still having my coffees in the morning and I was eating a lot of takeaway food throughout that week. But I was relaxed. I was enjoying every day, not having to worry that I've got to go here and I've got to go there and I've got to go to the other place and I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to... No, I was just in the moment at the beach every day, in the moment with my daughter, in the moment with my husband. I was breathing deeply. I was so relaxed from the first day because I love being at that beach. There's something about that place. So in that week, I had the realization that it wasn't so much the food that was affecting my body, my health. It was my state of being, that I was constantly in a state of panic, of stress, that I have to be here and I have to be there and I have to be doing this and I have to be doing that. My state of rushing from place to place to place throughout the day. That I have to do this and I have to do that. All these things I have to do to pay the bills so that we can get through another day and do it all over again. Now, that was the first realization that I had, how much my body released and relaxed the moment I let go of everything, because there was nothing to go to but to be there in that moment. That was the first thing. in that moment, I realized that our thoughts create our reality. It wasn't in that moment. I've known this for a while. As you study your life, you begin to look at yourself and you look at the thoughts that you've had and you look at what's in your reality in this moment. When you are awake, you will begin to understand that you created all of it with your thoughts, with your energy. It's all tied together. But food and your body. I grew up with body being something that you're ashamed of, not just by my mum. I think more than from my mum, because like I said before, my mum was quite a big person, you know. She was a size 24 when it wasn't that common at the time, and she would have to buy a lot of her clothes in men's stores, and she would be ashamed that in the women's clothing there weren't lines large enough to fit her. Mind you, in those days there weren't shoes big enough for most of us. You know, if your feet were too big, shoes weren't made in the biggest sizes back then either. I'm talking 50 years ago. You know, all of these things came later. The plus sizes. Now I think you can get up to a plus 26 or 28. Or I'm not even sure how big the plus sizes go for women. But back in those days, I think the size 20, 22 might have been the maximum. And after that, she could only find clothes in the men's clothing that were comfortable for her to wear. And she would feel so ashamed. I could see it in her face. She didn't have to say anything. I could see it in her eyes, how she felt about herself. But more than growing up with watching my mum and this pattern of, you know, every time you look at yourself in the mirror, feeling ashamed of how you look, of what you've become, of what you've let yourself become, was going to Catholic Church and how they talk about the body there. That everything is a sin there when it comes to the body. So most of my shame around my body came from church, more than my mum. But I had both growing up. So this was the pattern I took on. And for a long time, no matter how skinny I was, when I looked in the mirror, I was fat. So I understand how people become anorexic, because for a while there, between the ages of 15 and 18, I was going down that path of I didn't want to eat because everything I ate made me fat, and it didn't matter how skinny I got. Every time I looked in the mirror, all I could see was I'm so fat. Our perspective becomes distorted because of the patterns that are passed on from those around us. Mind you, my dad was super fit. He was buff as, because he was a bricklayer. He looked amazing. He was all muscles. But he wasn't home all day. He was always out working. He was never home. He worked 12-hour days building houses. He left at 5 in the morning and didn't come home till like 6 at night. He was never there. We hardly saw him. So I was constantly bombarded by this pattern in my home by my mum. And I grew up with that. Now, there is our self-image with our body. That's our relationship with our body. Same as we talked about, we have a relationship with money. We have a relationship with our body. Our body is energy too. And everything we think and feel about our body is listening. It's paying attention to all your thoughts about yourself. And because it is energy, because it is spirit, it responds. And if you are thinking, I'm so fat, the body is responding. If you are thinking, I look disgusting, the body is assimilating this information for you. It is giving you more of what you are thinking and feeling, because it doesn't judge that it's good or bad. The same as money. Money doesn't judge. It doesn't come and go because, oh, it's good or it's bad. It is responding to your energy. Everything is responding to your energy. All of it. Money, your body, all of it. So in this one, we're talking about our bodies and our relationship with our bodies. So today, perhaps think about the patterns, the habits that you have with your body. When you look at your body, how do you feel? How does it make you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you think? Everything is serving you. Everything is serving your experience. And if it is something that's making you feel bad, it is serving that experience. Now, with food, what I learnt in that week, it's not about the food. It's about our state of mind. It's about our being. When we are relaxed, when we are present, it doesn't matter. Our thoughts about the food that we eat. If you're going to eat something, and in the moment that you are eating it, you are thinking, this is bad for me, this isn't good for me, I shouldn't be eating this. Your body is listening to all of that. It's listening. If you are eating something and you are engrossed in being present in that moment, and you are enjoying what you are eating, and you are taking in the flavors, you're savoring each bite, and your thoughts are, how wonderful this tastes. I love how this tastes. This is so good. This is my husband. Everything to him is about flavor, about how it tastes. He doesn't care if it's good for him or not good for him. We've laughed so many times with my husband, because with my daughter especially, because he'll say, I don't care if it kills me. I want it to taste good. You know, and it was in that moment, the first time he said that I had this thought in my head. It's our thoughts that create our reality. If we decide that this food is bad for us, from all the stuff we've been reading, from all the stuff we've been listening to, if you are listening to someone, if it's in the news and they say that red meat is bad for you, and you decide, oh, red meat is bad for me, then every time you sit down and eat a steak, guess what? Your body is listening. Well, hang on a minute. Didn't we decide that red meat, the red meat is bad for me? Then why are we eating it? There was a debate at one stage that eggs were good for you. Eggs are bad for you. Eggs are good for you. Eggs are bad for you. On and off with the eggs. Well, wherever you sit with the eggs, if you decide that you're going to eat eggs and they're the best thing for your body, it's the best thing that you can eat, it's full of protein and it's going to be so good for you, then guess what? It's going to be amazing. Your body's going to eat that. It's going to digest that. And it's going to do just that. It's going to be amazing for you. Because it's what you believe about it. With coffee, the same, on and off with coffee. It's good for you, it's bad for you, it's good for you, it's bad for you. Now, again, it's good for you. For a few years, I stopped drinking coffee because I couldn't drink a cup of coffee without thinking, this is bad for me. I spent a lot of years with headaches, and I would attribute those headaches to drinking coffee. But I found that it was really difficult to move my bowels in the mornings without that cup of coffee. So when I came back from South America, I decided I'm going to have that cup of coffee because I need it to move my bowels. And when I drink that cup of coffee, because I love drinking coffee, I'm going to enjoy every sip. And if it kills me, it kills me. I don't care. I'm going to be just like my husband. I just love the taste of it. So while I'm here, I'm going to enjoy it. So feel within you today, as you eat the things that you eat throughout the day and drink the things you drink throughout the day. What are your thoughts around these things? And can you feel, hear, as I've started to hear since I came back from the beach, my body is yelling at me that it wants to eat this, it doesn't want to eat that. There are certain foods now that I just smell and I feel like yakking. I just feel like, ugh, I can't even. And it's not because I think it's good or bad for me. It's just now my body has decided to speak up and I'm listening. And it's like, nope, I don't want that. Please don't put that in me. But there's a strong rejection in my stomach at the moment for certain foods. And there's a strong pull towards, this is what I need right now. Just for once, listen and take care of me. So, pay attention to your thoughts. I'm not saying monitor every single thought, but you know when the thoughts come up? When you go to drink something and you're like, this is so good. A cup of tea, a glass of water. You know, I didn't know what drinking water was until I was about 35. I used to drink either soft drinks or I'd put cordial in my water because that's how I grew up. In my childhood, I never had a glass of water. I didn't know what that was. My mum used to put cordial in our water all the time. Cordial is like this syrupy, sugary stuff. Pretty much the same as soft drink. It just doesn't have bubbles. It doesn't have gas. And I was 35 and I remember eating a pizza with my husband and drinking Pepsi at the time. And no matter how much I drank, it didn't quench my thirst. I was so thirsty. That pizza must have been so salty and I didn't realize. And in that moment, I thought, what am I doing? Why am I even drinking this? It's not satisfying my thirst. And that is the purpose of my drinking it. And that was the last time I had soft drink or anything in my water. I've been drinking water ever since. It's a choice I make. And I feel sometimes when I drink the water, how it cools the inside of my body, how lovely it feels. And I feel the gratitude in my body. I was like, thank you. You know, things like that. So you have a relationship with food. You have a relationship with your body. And when you are done with the patterns that you have adopted from childhood, the things that you have learned of how to interact with food, of how to interact with your body, these relationships will change when you are done. Everything changes when you are done with that experience. But know for now that if you're going to eat something, just enjoy it. This is your life. If you want to have that slice of pizza or you want to eat the whole pizza, Enjoy it. Don't stop to think, oh, this is bad for me. It's going to make me feel heavy. That was me towards the end. I can't remember the last time I've had pizza. But when I did, those were the thoughts running through my head. I'm going to feel so heavy going to bed. And this is in my stomach. I'm going to feel so heavy tomorrow because I've eaten this. But I love the way it tastes. So your thoughts create your reality. Of course, the next day I would wake up feeling tired and lethargic, and because I already told my body that this is what pizza does. So whatever you eat, enjoy it. And pay close attention. If you're already feeling it's going to make you feel bad, that it's not good for your body is listening. It listens to everything. It listens when you look at it and you feel disgust, or you feel that you're fat and it's not how you want to look. Your body's listening. It's serving you in every moment. Food is serving you in every moment. It's all spirit. It's all energy. All of it, without exception. All right, my beautiful beings. I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And let us know in the comments, or if our new community has already been built, let us know there. What are your thoughts on food? What are your thoughts on your body? What are your thoughts on this video? Bye for now.